Well, something big is about to strike the United States of America this coming June. And it's all thanks to President Trump when he was in office. Now, what I'm about to share with you should be the number one news story on every mainstream media news source. However, as always, they push it under the rug and hide it from you. Now, I intend to expose it and bring it to the forefront. Not only that, but I've got a bombshell from the former DNI, John Ratcliffe, where he dropped a bombshell about what we could see this coming June. But before I get into the report, just a quick break.
New studies have just revealed that when people reach the Middle Ages, that their body often produces less collagen than it did in their youth. Collagen is the main building block of our skin, making up about 70 to 80% of it. This is why we get saggy skin and wrinkles as we age. And that's why it's even more important that you start supplementing your diet with collagen. And I highly recommend BioTrust at healthwithlisa.com. You see, supplementing collagen literally improves your skin's elasticity, allowing it to be smoother, plumper, and even more youthful. But the right kind of collagen is difficult and downright impossible to get into your diet and supplements. You risk ingesting dangerous ingredients, and not to mention wasting money on a product that doesn't actually combat aging. That's why I highly recommend BioTrust Ageless Multi-Collagen Formula. And right now, you can get it by going to healthwithlisa.com. That's healthwithlisa.com. Right now, BioTrust is offering a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, but this formula has the essential collagen that your body needs. 5 different types from 4 different sources. And right now, for every order that you put through, BioTrust is literally giving a nutritious meal to a hungry child in your honor. Not only that, but this collagen is so easy to take. You can either mix it in your cold shake every morning, or if you're like me and you truly love coffee, you can mix it in your coffee and it stirs right in without clumping. So take advantage of up to 51% off by going to healthwithlisa.com. Anyhow, all the information is also found in the description box below. All right, back to the broadcast.
So just what is this bombshell information that's set to hit our ears this coming June? How about a straight up UFO disclosure by our governmental agencies? Now, I touched on this a couple of months ago, but I want to bring it back up because there is brand new information about what may be inside these reports that are at least on the docket to be released sometime in June. They could obviously push that out, but there's new information from John Ratcliffe saying what the American people should expect. And again, I don't see why this isn't the number one news story. But as a quick reminder, I want to go back to what happened in December when President Trump signed this little COVID bill. But here it is, NY Post. COVID-19 bill started an official 180-day countdown for UFO disclosure. As you know, President Trump back in December on about the 27th, he signed the $2.3 trillion COVID relief and government funding bill, which started the 180-day countdown for the Pentagon and even the spy agencies to say what they know about UFOs. Now, it goes on that the provision received little attention because it wasn't included in the 6,000-ish page legislation, but it was included as a committee comment attached to the annual Intelligence Authorization Act, which was rolled into the massive bill. The Senate Intelligence Committee, chaired by Marco Rubio, said in the comment that it, quote, directs the Director of National Intelligence, the DNI, which John Ratcliffe is the former DNI, in consultation with the Secretary of Defense and the heads of such other agencies to submit a report report within 180 days of the date of enactment of the act to the Congressional Intelligence and Armed Service Committees on unidentified aerial phenomenon. This is why what John Ratcliffe just dropped to Fox News is so important. Let's get on over to that bombshell. And here it is here. And I'm going to share this Twitter feed on it because it actually has a lot of good information in this one clip. But Maria gets former DNI John Ratcliffe to talk about UFOs ahead of a deadline for the government to disclose what it knows about them. But take a listen to this first clip here and what he has to say.
Actually, is a program that's been in place for a few years in terms of a task force that has been there under the National Defense Authorization Act. But as you correctly point out, Maria, there's now a report that will be issued by the Pentagon, by the Secretary of Defense and the Director of National Intelligence. I actually wanted to get this information out and declassified before I left office, but we weren't able to get it down into an unclassified format that we could talk about quickly enough. But
Wow. So he wanted to get this unclassified copy out as soon as possible, but they weren't able to get all the information together. Goes on a little bit further and he makes some more bombshell statements. Take a listen.
Quickly enough, but frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public. Some of those have been declassified. When we talk about sightings, we're talking about objects that have been seen by Navy or Air Force pilots or have been picked up by satellite imagery that frankly engage in actions that are difficult to explain, that movements that are hard to replicate, that we don't have the technology for, or traveling at speeds that exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom. So in short, things that we are observing that are difficult to explain. And so, there's actually quite a few of those, and I think that information is being gathered and will be put out in a way that the American people can see. We always, when we
Okay, so he's going to put the information out in a way that the American people can see. And he also specifically references things that are happening in the skies that we personally don't have the technology for. And he references sonic booms. So there's big things there that he's talking about. He says we in the United States of America, at least, don't have the technology for the things that we're seeing. But he goes on.
See these things, Maria, we always look for a plausible explanation. Weather can cause disturbances, visual disturbances. Sometimes we wonder whether or not our adversaries have technologies that are a little bit further down the road than we thought or that we realized. But there are instances where we don't have good explanations for some of the things that we've seen. And, when that information becomes declassified, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about that.
Ooh. So when it becomes declassified, we'll get into more detail. I mean, this, again, should be the front page story everywhere. But he's basically saying a couple things here. He goes, there are things we can't explain. So there's really only a couple options. He says, well, maybe weather, whatever. Or two, maybe it's technologies that other countries have that we don't yet have here in the United States of America, which we should kind of know about, right? Because if they're massively advanced in these other countries, then we got some problems here in the United States. Or it's your UFO, unexplainable phenomenon. And Steve Quayle at stevequayle.com, he's got a lot of great information on all of that, on UFOs, if they're fallen angels, demons, there's Nephilim, there's a lot of little explanations out there, but that's just another drop in the bucket, so to speak. But he goes on a little further, and take a listen to what he says.
Can you tell us where it was seen?
Actually, all over the world. There have been sightings all over the world. And when we talk about sightings, the other thing I will tell you is it's not just a pilot or just a satellite or some intelligence collection. Usually we have multiple sensors that are picking up these things. And so, again, some of this are just they're unexplained phenomenon. There's actually quite a few more than have been made public. So I think it'll be healthy for as much of this information to get out there as possible so that the American people can see. Actually,
so he makes it very clear there's unexplained phenomenon happening in our skies. And this isn't just some media reported. This is the former DNI. Right? He's got some massive information on what's going on. And I have to tell you, hopefully they are on par to release it this coming June. They could push it out a little more. I don't know. I'm not the government agency, but as of now, it's expected this June. But let me show you just a couple of articles on what's been going on in our skies lately, because I think it's really relevant in light of what I'm talking about today. But here we are, Fox9.com. The truth is out there. UFO sightings are up this year, and that was as of late November. Imagine what they are now. Then we have thesun.com. Not alone. Coronavirus pandemic has led to a rocketing number of UFO sightings, investor claim. This is back in December of 2020, so not that far off. Then we also have this, thesun.com, ET Online. CIA declassified an entire trove of UFO documents for online Black Vault that reveals mysterious explosions and an alien contract. And again, this was early June. So we have more sightings of UFOs and unidentified flying objects. And then also coming January, they've released this whole treasure trove to blackvault.com. Then we also have some strange things also going on. FBI, this is zerohedge.com. FBI, aware of possible UFO spotting, won't confirm the investigation. Now, what they're actually referencing in this particular report is there was an incident that happened where an American Airlines pilot noticed some kind of cylindrical object flying in the sky when he was en route from Phoenix, Arizona to Cincinnati, Ohio, right? And the FBI is aware of that, but a lot of crazy things are happening right now in our skies and in regards to UFOs. So there's massive disclosure that's right now set to hit our ears sometime in June, assuming they keep the deadlines on that. There is that disclosure coming. But the bottom line is there's a lot of information out there that's thrown in every direction about what UFO is. And like Ratcliffe said, it could be that another country has technology that we're not aware of. It could be some kind of weather phenomenon, who knows? Or it could be actual UFOs, unidentified. We don't know what the heck it is. And again, as I stated before, Steve Quayle's got a lot of good information on that. And by the way, I've got that conference coming up. Check out gen6.com, and I'll leave information below on that. I'll be speaking virtually there. It's June 11th and 12th. But anyway, he has a lot of information on what's going on with UFOs. But the bottom line is there's a lot of theories. There's people who say Nephilim or fallen angels. There's lots of biblical contents and demons, and I tend to stand on that ground about what I believe they are. But not only that, I also want to say that there is a big movement underway that says aliens created humankind and they're the savior of the world. Please don't fall for that nonsense. I do believe that we were created by God. But anyhow, I wanted to get you that information. As you know, the mainstream media is kind of ignoring it, other than Fox News, who tends to reveal a little bit of that now and again. Well, anyhow, thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.